I've been married for almost a year. Long enough for the honeymoon glow to fade into the gray light of routine. Long enough for promises of togetherness to harden into rigid expectations. I stay home. I am the keeper of the rhythm. I take care of the meals, the laundry, the quiet, repetitive things that keep the house running so smoothly that it's easy to forget someone is doing them at all. We agreed on this before we said our vows. He said we'd be a team. He looked me in the eyes and promised that even if our roles were different, the partnership would stay equal. Most days, I try not to question it. I remind myself that this is the arrangement I chose. But lately, the house has started to feel less like a home and more like a stage where I'm the only one performing. He works from home. His world is filled with screens, meetings, and the high-stakes pulse of a tech career. He has time for his hobbies, time to disappear into digital worlds where he is the hero. I watch him rest. I watch him retreat. I don't resent his success. At least, I try to convince myself of that every morning while I'm folding his shirts. That night, the house felt particularly heavy. I had been cleaning for hours. The kitchen was spotless, the kind of clean that feels cold. The floors were wiped, the counters gleaming under the harsh yellow light. The children were finally asleep, their small, steady breaths the only honest sound in the house. It felt like a small victory. I just wanted a moment where I wasn't a housewife. I wanted to sit down next to him and feel like a woman, like a partner. There were still toys scattered in the living room. Bright plastic blocks, a forgotten stuffed animal, small remnants of the day's chaos. I looked at them, And then I looked at him on the sofa. I asked him gently if he could help me by picking them up. Just that one small thing so we could finally sit together. He didn't look up from his screen. He didn't even pause. He just said, "That's your role, isn't it?" The words were delivered with a casual certainty that hit me harder than a shout. The silence that followed was suffocating. I stood there, still clutching a damp dish towel, realizing that in his mind, I wasn't a person asking for help. I was a function that had failed to complete a task. It wasn't the refusal that broke something inside me. It was the finality of it. As if my value was strictly defined by the chores I finished. As if the team we talked about was just a company where he was the boss and I was the overhead. I tried to explain. I told him I wasn't trying to change our deal, just asking for a moment of shared effort. But he didn't want to hear about feelings. He wanted to talk about logic. He reminded me of his salary. He reminded me of the degree I have that sits in a drawer, collecting dust. He spoke about the things I never finished, the dreams I let go of to stay here. And then he said the word that stayed with me, replaceable. He didn't have to scream it. He just let it hang in the air between the spotless kitchen and the messy living room. The message was clear. Anyone could do what I do. My only worth was my obedience to the role he assigned me. I went to the bedroom and closed the door. The click of the lock felt like the only power I had left. I sat in the dark, listening to the hum of the house I worked so hard to maintain. I thought about my degree. I thought about the version of me that used to have a voice. I don't mind the work. I don't mind caring for my family. What I can't live with is the realization that love has become conditional. That respect is something I have to earn by staying invisible and efficient. I realized that night that I had become a role, not a person. I am an arrangement that works only as long as I don't ask for anything back. I still love him, or at least I love the man I thought he was. But I don't know how to fix a marriage where my husband only sees me when I stop working. I don't know how to stay without losing the rest of who I am. I look at the toys still on the floor through the crack in the door. And I ask myself quietly, what do you do when the home you built becomes the cage you're meant to keep clean? How do you find your way back to being seen when the person who should see you best has already decided you're just a part of the furniture?